My name is Christian Pinkston, and about 35 years ago, I pledged a brand new fraternity at the University of Texas called BYX, a brotherhood of Christian men. No one knew about it. I had no idea what I was getting into, but it really has changed my life, and I've been a part of it ever since. Today, I live right outside of Washington, D.C. I got a wife and 4 kids, and I run a public relations, communications, marketing firm. I just find it ironic that anyone would want to talk to me about the concept of authenticity, because most of my life has been hinged around the antithesis of authenticity. I lived until about a decade ago as a walking facade. And even my time in BYX, I was pretending to be what I wanted other people to think I was. And that's where I got my value. If you valued me in whatever context I was in, that made me significant. That gave me worth. And so my life was, I run a PR firm. I'm really good at it. I was my best client. And so that's who I was. And I don't even think I realized it until about 10 years ago. Just the Lord brought the series of catastrophes into my life that were painful, horrifying, embarrassing, and beautiful. Because it's the point where He started ripping things away from me. And it was the first time I realized, man, all the stuff I've been holding on to and valuing, just reaching for, is actually worth nothing. And it's the first time I realized, man, if my identity can be ripped away from me, if it can be taken from me, that is a precarious place to be living. I don't want that. I want to be a man that is valuable and significant and worthwhile because the King of the universe says so. I love to share my story. I hate my story and I love it at the same time. It's humiliating. If I look at the life I was living and the inauthenticity, really almost double life. And so, I hate going back there, except the power of redemption, reconciliation, the power of grace is so transformative. I can't not talk about it. I think the word authentic is tossed around a lot and probably overused and misused. For me, authenticity means being the same man in every context and the real me in every context. And so whether I'm at work, I'm meeting with a client, I'm sitting at home with my wife and my kids, I'm at church, I'm standing in front of a BYX chapter on some university campus, I strive and fail, but strive to be the same guy, say the same things, and try to strip away, again, it's a process and I fail often, but try to strip away all of those things that I cling to and get significance from that aren't my identity. And so for me, the ability to talk to young men all over the country about understanding, man, who are you? And what does it mean to be loved by God? And how, if you understand that, will it change the way that you live? My tattoos get a lot of attention. And they really are my story. I could go through every one of these things and tell you how they illustrate what the Lord has done in my life, for me, to me, through me. And so really my tattoos are almost a commemoration of God's work in my life. I go on college campuses all the time to talk to young men and bucks. And I know I walk into a room, I'm old, I'm gray, and always wearing a jacket or something, and I'll take it off as I'm going up to talk, and you can see it on every face. If a guy doesn't know me, it's like, whoa, what? It catches them off guard, and it gives me an opportunity to speak to them in a way where they're wondering, like, who is that guy? What is up with him? And they're willing to take a deeper look, or to actually listen and not put me in some box. I tell young men all the time, I'm called into full-time ministry, and so are you. And oftentimes they're like, what? But the fact is, my ministry is in the context of a communications firm. And so if my whole contribution to the world was a better PR campaign, or better messaging, or a better website, that's kind of sad. For me, that's the platform on which I connect with people, whether it's folks that I work with, or clients, or people that will connect with me because of what I do. And it's an opportunity in all of those contexts to demonstrate Jesus in some way. And that's really all that matters about work ultimately, is being intentional about relationships and people and ministry through that. The reason that I do Bucks, and it is such a high priority for me, is because I went decades misunderstanding who I am, misunderstanding who God is. My dad took off when I was 5 years old, and I never, ever had anyone speak into my life, invest in me in an intentional way, to make absolutely certain that I knew the concept of grace, what it means for me, and the significance of the rescue mission Jesus went on for me, so that I could be a son of the Most High God, and I could be a brother, a joint heir with him. No one told me that. I'm sure I heard it. I'm sure I sat in sermon after sermon, but it never penetrated, and I wasted decades. The reason I do Bucks is because if I can reach one young man, or two, or a chapter, and I can make sure that they understand, let me tell you who you are. You're a son of God. You're a joint heir, a brother of Jesus. You have the Holy Spirit, all of the Holy Spirit and the power that resurrected Jesus living inside of you. And if you knew that, it would change everything about you. Your worth becomes immovable and incalculable. And then when you walk and live in light of that, imagine what that could look like.